Hello, my name is Alvord and I am here at Ballard High School, bringing to you an analysis of Persepolis 1 and 2 using a psychoanalytic lens. Let's bring it on over to William Meade to learn about the definition of psychoanalytic theory. Hello, here I am with William Meade, an expert on psychoanalytic theory. Can you please tell us what psychoanalytic theory is?
Psychoanalytic theory is a theory developed by Sigmund Freud in 1864. He believed that childhood events and memories triggered the stimuli in your brain, such as your ego, your superego, and your ego. He believed that throughout your childhood, these events affected the way that you perceive things as an adult.
Thank you. Bye now. Here I am with another psychoanalytic expert here to clarify on what William Meade just said.
Well, actually, psychoanalytic theory is the theory of personality organization and the dynamics of personality development. Sigmund Freud believed that consciousness was influenced by childhood events. So as we go through things in life, we develop defenses such as selective perception, selective memory, denial, displacement, projection, regression, fear of intimacy, and fear of death, among other things.
Interesting. Here I am with Mark Summer, a Ballard High School student. We're gonna find out what the general population knows about psychoanalytic theory. What do you have to say on the topic, Mark?
I can take it or leave it.
Nice. And we are back with day 2 of our psychoanalytic report on Persepolis. And here I am with James, and he's gonna tell us how psychoanalytic theory relates to Persepolis.
Alright, so somebody who knows a lot about psychoanalytics would say that these books have a lot of like interesting signs of psychoanalysis in like how it's about her childhood and stuff, and how the author had a lot of these issues that are talked about in the book, how she experienced them in her real life.
For answering the given questions on Persepolis 1 and 2, I'm gonna pass it off to my co-host, William Meade. Okay, there.
Hello, this is William Meade. Ava Alvord will here answer the question, how symbolic is the imagery in the story?
Thank you. In both Persepolis 1 and 2, there is prominent use of imagery in the story, represented in all of the images. Using a psychoanalytic lens, we can see that the images give the opportunity for multiple interpretations of the story, even in ways that the author didn't originally intend. For example, the fire on page 15 explains it in a factual way. Quote, the BBC said there were 400 victims. The Shah said that a group of religious fanatics perpetrated the massacre. Quote end. By having the picture of all the people burning, it creates a level of sympathy that the reader might not have felt, and it displays feelings that the author has displayed through the main character. I'm done.
Thank you. Hello, it is me, William Meade, here with Anja Huber. How does the hero embark on a journey in a spiritual sense?
Well, Margie embarks on a journey in a spiritual sense because of how she was raised, and that it also has to do with psychoanalytic theory because Marjane Satrapi was raised in a very religious home. So based on her relationship with God, which we can see in Persepolis on page 8 and 9, she, at the beginning of the book, she was working towards being a prophet. And like, for example, on page 8, it says that she had a discussion with God every night. But however, over time, we can see in Persepolis 2 that her life became a lot more focused on politics instead, since the revolution was in full roll. So she kind of forgot about God and was living her crazy life. But she came back to having a spiritual guide in her life towards the end.
Hello, it is me, William Meade. Ava Alvord, the resident expert on the question, what trials/ordeals does the character face throughout the story, will answer the question, what trials/ordeals does the character face throughout the story? Walk with me, Ava.
Okay. The primary conflict at the beginning of the story is primarily Margie versus herself, demonstrated here on pages 6 and 7. Which, scrutinizing under a psychoanalytic lens, could show feelings of life being unfair from when the author was a child. Later on in the story, she becomes homeless and eventually hurts herself, which could maybe be the extremities of the author's thoughts that she subconsciously applied to her character.
Boom.
Hello. How
Hello.
does the text mirror the archetypal narrative patterns in the story?
Do you know what an archetypal narrative pattern is?
I have no idea.
It's a universally recognized pattern that translates across different cultures that is in books. For example, the idea of a main character or protagonist going on a quest. For example, have you seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yes,
Ferris Bueller goes on a quest on his day off.
he does.
Yes, he does. So in Persepolis, we can see
With
that...
Marjane Satrapi.
Exactly. We can see that Margie goes on a quest because she leaves Iran. Her parents send her away and because of the revolution, so she has to find a place of safety and security away from the violent home she once knew.
She does.
This is relevant in page 152 of the book because her parents are sending her away to a safer place so that she...
Vienna, Austria.
And then as she moves away, she goes on this quest that is this archetypal narrative pattern that across different cultures is recognized.
Similar to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Earlier, Ava discussed the trials that the character must overcome. Now, Anja will discuss the rewards that the character achieved from overcoming these trials/ordeals.
Even though Margie had a lot of trials in her life, she eventually figured out that with the people that she met in Persepolis 2, she was able to take the advice that she learned as a little kid and use that to move on in her life and actually like get an education and start growing up instead of doing all this crazy stuff. Like on page 180, she says that she follows her grandma's advice and she found a job as an illustrator, so she was able to move on with her life and she was able to get rewards because of this. Also, she had a lot of people in her life who cared about her and that helped her along the way.
I'm passing it off to Anja Huber.
Miss McKenna, what do you think about Persepolis 1 and 2 and psychoanalytic theory?
Considering Persepolis 1 and 2 and psychoanalytic theory requires the reader consider the books through the perspective of the author's psychology. Subconsciously, what does the author think and feel which she's not aware of that she puts down in her writing? So we see that Margie Satrapi is a deep well.
Thank you for that insight. That's exactly what we said.
Thanks for watching.
Parkour! One, 2, 3. Is it going? Yeah. We got another news van rolling in, here to help us on psychoanalytic theory.